Welcome back! Today I'm crafting something truly magical for the holidays. A heart-shaped Christmas ornament with decoupage and an air-dry clay ballerina that twirls inside a gold ring. You're going to fall in love with this beautiful project. Hi there, my crafty friends. I'm Donna from Mason Creations, etc. and welcome to my channel. If you're ready to do this, let's get started making a mess. This heart-shaped wooden MDF piece was left over from another project. I love the shape of this heart, so I kept the punch-out piece for another project, and this is it. I'm going to paint it white on both sides to prep for my decoupage. I'm using Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color cotton, and I'll let that dry for about 30 minutes. My crafty friend Jenny P asked for a Christmas ornament with a ballerina in a ring with lace, pearls, and tulle. Here you go, Jenny. This video is for you. I love the leafy swirls on this rice paper. I'm going to be mindful of where I place these gorgeous swirls on my heart. I'm carefully placing the heart on the back of the paper and holding the paper to the light so I can see where I'm placing the heart. I laid it down carefully and traced the heart, then cut it out. I did this twice, one for each side of the wood piece. Make sure you always paint white or a very light off-white wherever you're going to decoupage rice paper or a napkin. White allows the colors in your images to look more vibrant. Dark colors will make your images look dark and muddy. This and all the products you're going to see me use today came from decoupagenapkins.com, my wonderful sponsors. I'm using Polyvine Heavy Duty Wood Varnish as my decoupage adhesive today. You can use this product as a varnish and an adhesive, which is true for all the Polyvine formulas. It works so much better than the most popular brand of decoupage glue. It's not a glue, so it doesn't go on thick and lumpy. It's a varnish, so it dries crystal clear and will never yellow. I let one side dry completely before turning it over and decoupaging the other side. I'm using a medium grit sandpaper to remove all the excess napkin from around the edges. I'm sanding in a downward motion. This cuts the paper clean right at the edge of your base. I'm going around the entire thing until all the excess paper has been removed. Make sure you don't go in an upward motion. That could lift your paper. I'm using some brown ink and a blending brush to add a shadow around the heart on both sides. This will create some depth instead of it looking so flat. I'm going around the edges in a circular motion, starting on the paper towel and then going up and over the edge of the heart. This is a real soft way to create that shadow. It's a little less harsh than using paint. I'll let that set for about an hour to make sure it's dry, and then I'm going to add a gold edge. I'm using Pentart paint in the color gold on the edge of the heart. I'm going to be adding some really delicate gold trim, so the underside needs to be gold as well. I just love the Pentart metallic paints. They go on so smooth and creamy and cover in one coat. Because you're watching this video today, DecoupageNapkins.com is going to give you a 10% discount on one order that's a minimum of at least $50. This is a one-time discount and is good on your entire order when you use the code MASON10 in all caps at checkout. You can also use this discount in conjunction with the free shipping on orders over $75. So now you can get that mold you've been eyeing or some additional rice papers you've been wanting. Even if you've been ordering from them in the past, you can still take advantage of this one-time 10% discount when using the code above. I'll leave all this information for you in my description box below. Heart's fine line crackle varnish to add a beautiful vintage porcelain look to this piece. It's a two-part system and I'm brushing on component number 1. I'll let that dry for about an hour or so until it's clear. Now that it's dry, I'll brush on component number 2. This step is an amber color. Use thin, even strokes. If you get buildup or drips anywhere, it'll show when dry. I'll let this dry for a couple of hours. Once dry, you'll see the cracks. I have some amazing cracks now, and I'm going to add some antiquing so you can see them. I'm using Pentart antique paste. It's solvent-based, so it's safe to put over the fine line crackle. I'm rubbing it into all the cracks and then wiping it off with a soft, dry cloth. Make sure you do not use a wet wipe. The antique will wipe off the surface of your piece, but stay in all those beautiful cracks. I let the antique paste dry for a couple of hours. Then I gave it a coat of Winsor & Newton clear glossy varnish. This is a solvent-based sealer, so it's safe for the fine line crackle. It's very shiny and gives your piece an aged porcelain appearance. I let this dry for about an hour. Also, please note that you cannot use any water-based varnishes or antiques over the fine line crackle. It will ruin your crackle finish. Since this product is solvent-based, the best way to clean your brush will be with mineral spirits. I'm going to drill a hole for a hanger at the top of the heart. I put some gold cord through the hole, tied a knot, and glued it to the gold ring. The hot glue didn't stay, so I ended up adding some E6000. That worked perfectly and held my heart in place. If I had been smart, I would have glued the trim to the edge of the heart before I tied it to the ring. It was a little bit of a fight at the top, but we got her done. I glued that delicate trim around the entire heart. Where are you all watching from, my crafty friends? Let me know in the comments. I just love to see what cities and countries all my friends are watching from. I'm filming from sunny Las Vegas, Nevada in the United States. I'm using my favorite DOS clay to make some embellishments for this project. DOS clay is so easy to work with, dries quickly, and has very little shrinkage or cracking when dry. It's perfect for making molded pieces. After pressing the clay into the molds, I'm scraping off the excess with my palette knife. If you want to see an in-depth video on how to work with air dry clay, click the banner in the top right corner of your screen. I'll also leave you a link below. And then smoothing the clay out with some water. Then I'll put them in the freezer for 20 minutes. Freezing the clay makes it rigid so they just pop out of the mold easily. No tiny little limbs will break off. Fresh out of the freezer, watch how easily these just pop out of the molds. No delicate little pieces will break off. They are frozen solid, so I'll need to let them thaw for a few minutes, but not in the mold. Make sure you remove them from the mold right away as soon as you take them out of the freezer. I let my ballerinas dry overnight and then sanded off any uneven edges very delicately. I'm going to give you all the paint colors that I used right up front. Then you can just relax and watch these ballerinas come to life. I wanted a very light flesh tone for the ballerinas, so I mixed Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color Cotton with Pentart compact powder. I used the Dixie Belle Cotton for their tutus, Pentart hazelnut for their hair, folk art conch shell for their ballet slippers, and Pentart gold for their crowns. DecoupageNapkins.com has such a great selection of napkins that you can purchase one at a time. They carry many other craft supplies such as rice paper, paint, clay, molds, and a great selection of polybind products. Over 9,000 products and growing. They are wonderful to work with and will send out your order fast. You'll receive free shipping on orders over $75 and special bonus points for orders over $100. Subscribe to their newsletter by entering your email address and you'll receive 10% off your next order. This discount is separate from the Mason 10 discount and may be used on a separate order. They are truly your one-stop shop for craft supplies. Make sure you check them out. I'll be leaving links for all the products I use in my description box below, as well as more information on the previously mentioned promotions. Please note that any of these promotions are subject to future changes. These tiny brushes are sold as nail art brushes. However, they are just perfect for doing really small detail work. They are a total game changer. You're going to see me use a lot of different tools that make life so much easier. Things like a turquoise cup cradle to keep round objects from getting away, a bow dabra that makes bows in a snap, a water brush for separating rice paper and napkins, nail art brushes for fine detail work, palette knives, a rhinestone picker, and others. All of these items are listed in my description box below and my favorite tools section, just in case you'd like to check any of them out. To find my description box, click on the word More just below the title of this video. After the paint dried, I sealed both ballerinas with Polyvine Heavy Duty Wood Varnish in the satin finish and let that dry for an hour. I'm going to use Folk Art Antiquing Medium in the color Wooden Bucket Brown. I mixed a little in a paper cup with some water. I like my antiques a little runny. I'm brushing my antique on the piece, going over and around all the embellishments. I'm doing this in sections and wiping the antique off with a soft dry cloth right away before it can dry. Because of the gloss finish, it will wipe off the surface and stay in all the cracks and crevices, showing the details of the mold. Antiquing gives your embellishments some depth and dimension, making everything look 3D instead of flat. What a difference it makes. Everything just comes to life now. I let that dry for about an hour and then gave them another coat of the heavy duty wood varnish and let that dry for an hour too. Okay, here comes the really fun part. I'm using some white tulle that has some glittery sparkles. I cut two pieces about 5 inches by 1/2 an inch. I used some white thread to gather each one at the top. I'm gluing this at the waist over the skirt portion on both. Then I gave it a trim to make it the same length. I'm using some white lace that's in the shape of a heart, which goes perfectly with her sweetheart neckline. I snipped out the heart shape and glued it to the top portion. Now I'm ready to glue both these beauties to the heart. I'm gluing one on each side, so it won't matter how this hangs on your tree, you'll always see a ballerina. I'm using E6000 glue today. It's very thick, so if the ballerinas aren't, it'll build up in the low spots. This is a good glue when your clay is dry. For wet clay, I always use Aleene's tacky glue. I cut a length of gold cord and I'm going to add a hanger at the top. I put a drop of glue on the cord to hold it in place. Then I added some cute little gold bows that I made from the cord where the lace met the tulle, and a gold rhinestone to the front of their crowns. I test all the products that I recommend in my videos. I won't recommend anything that I haven't used myself and prefer. If I'm recommending it, you can bet it's a great product. Each product will be listed in my description box below and will have a blue link to make it easy for you to find. Any of the links I provide are safe for you to click on. To find my description box, click on the word More just below the title of this video. I'm going to use my mini bow dabber tool to make a beautiful bow for this project. There are vertical slits and horizontal slits. Add a thin cord or a small ribbon through the vertical slits. Then you can layer your ribbon back and forth in the horizontal slits, using as many layers of ribbon or as many different types of ribbon that you want to. After you have all your layers of ribbon, pull up the two ends of your small cord in the vertical slits and tie them together. You can then safely lift up your newly made bow. I bring the cord around to the back and tie it in a knot. Now you can add an embellishment to the center of the bow or another tiny bow. I just love this little tool. I made two bows, one for each side of the ornament. I trimmed all the tails on the bows and then glued them at the top to the hanger. Don't forget, all of the wonderful products I'm using today can be found at my favorite place for craft supplies, decoupagenapkins.com, and I'll leave you links in my description box below. And one gorgeous golden tassel for the bottom of the ring, and a pearl embellishment for the center of both bows. I've added a link to a video that I think you may enjoy. Click the picture on the right to be taken directly to that video. I'm so happy you were here with me today, and thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see you all next week. I'm working on a new project with you in mind. You can subscribe by clicking my picture in the top right corner.